there, LEGO fans and Potterheads. I'm the lawyer in the LEGO shed, and this is the 11th in a series of videos that I will be making over the course of this year as I build my way through the magical world of LEGO Harry Potter. I've been collecting the Harry Potter LEGO series since the line started back in 2001 with the release of the very first movie. And for this video series, I will be building sets that have been part of the more recent waves of Harry Potter LEGO, beginning in 2018 and stopping in 2023. My plan is to go in movie order, so without further ado, let's get started. Today we're actually covering two different sets. The first is part 4 of set number 76390, the Harry Potter LEGO Advent Calendar, the Diagon Alley Journey to Hogwarts version. And the second set is 75954, the Hogwarts Great Hall. So starting us off with set number 76390. This is our final installment. Thank heaven. For those who have been watching, they know that I am not a big fan of this set, but we are finally done. And we have just a few components to round us off here. We've got a nice little Christmas tree. We have a top that is part of the gameplay element. We have 3 different minifigures, one of Draco Malfoy in his standard Hogwarts robes without a crest. We also have one of Ron in the same outfit, and we have one of Hermione as well. So rounding out our collection of different minifigs that have come with this particular lineup, we've got those guys. And then we have a Great Hall banquet table that came with a little loaf of bread, casually referred to as the unbaked bread in some circles, and then the little pumpkin and cherries on top to kind of make our complete Great Hall set. I think the most interesting thing about this particular portion of the set is these non-specific Hogwarts uniforms that everybody's wearing. You get quite a few in this particular set, which is nice, but I think that's really the only interesting thing. Otherwise, all these characters come in several different sets, and as an adult collector, I really couldn't care less about this game feature that they really leaned into hard on these more recent advent calendars. What's even more vexing is the top itself doesn't actually even function like a top. It almost immediately falls over and won't really spin all that effectively, so kind of a bit of a letdown on that front, but not really for me. I think beyond that, the other points that I would notice are the Christmas tree in this whole set. This is the only thing that makes this remotely Christmas oriented. There's really nothing else that gives you that impression throughout the entire set, or that it's even associated with a holiday. But yeah, so kind of a lackluster ending to a lackluster set, which many could probably see coming, but in order of our different appearances in the movies, we finally have gotten to the Great Hall. We have that great confrontation scene with Draco and Harry, which is real fun, but we finally made it. So now we're done and can move on.
Welcome to Hogwarts. Now, in a few moments you will pass through these doors and join your classmates, but before you can take your seats, you must be sorted into your houses. They are Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, and Slytherin. Now, while you're here, your house will be like your family. Your triumphs will earn you points. Any rule breaking and you will lose points. At the end of the year, the house with the most points is awarded the House Cup.
Trevor! Sorry.
The sorting ceremony will begin momentarily.
It's true then, what they're saying on the train. Harry Potter has come to Hogwarts.
Harry Potter.
This is Crabbe and Goyle. And I'm Malfoy. Draco Malfoy. Think my name was funny, do you? With no need to ask you yours. Red hair and a hand-me-down robe. You must be a Weasley. You'll soon find out that some wizarding families are better than others, Potter. You don't want to go making friends with the wrong sort. I can help you there.
I think I can tell the wrong sort for myself, thanks.
Okay. Next up is set number 75954, the Hogwarts Great Hall. This, I would say, is one of the sets I've been most excited to build and kind of get started on. So let's dive right into it. I'll bring out our set first here. Alrighty. So, released in 2018 and with 878 pieces and 10 minifigs, this is a pretty substantial set. The Great Hall has been depicted in Lego form at least 2 times prior to 2018. The first is the one that I grew up with. This is 4709. This was released in 2001 when the very first movies were coming out. It had yellow minifigs and everything. That was before the licensed figures had been given the skin tones. Then we had a reboot that happened in conjunction with Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. So this was released, this next set, 4842, was released in 2010 as part of that promotional release. So definitely a lot has changed between these different sets and depictions of the Great Hall. And so it's fun to kind of like get a sense for and know where we've been as we kind of look at now where we've landed. In 2018, they also released 71043, which was a micro-scale Hogwarts castle. I'm not going to be covering that in this series as it covers essentially the entire series of movies, has a lot of moments from each different movie in there, and I'm tending to focus on more of the minifig builds as opposed to the micro-scale builds. So, diving into this one. This version of the Great Hall is one of my favorites, partly because it connects with so many other sets that were released as part of this wave. 75953, the Whomping Willow, 75948, the Clock Tower, and 75969, the Astronomy Tower, all of which we'll be covering in this series as we keep progressing through the movies. Together, these 4 sets between 2018 and 2020 make the most complete edifice of the Hogwarts castle that's ever been released. And by the time we're done with this series, we will have gotten to see them all put together. What I loved about this set was this detail on the exterior. I mean, the individual windows here with all the lattice work, even these little pointed features up here, the little accoutrement on the outside, even getting some of these like finer details on how the roof is constructed. I just really think that this portion of the Great Hall is really wonderful. Check out the back where we have that nice big stained glass window that's featured in a few of the ending shots from various movies. Such a great addition there. And then, of course, we have our main tower that I think height-wise is probably one of the biggest, obvious, like it's not quite the right scale. It needs definitely a lot more presence here. But as far as the exterior is concerned, I think it actually worked out really well. I initially wasn't a big fan of this decision to step away from the nostalgic green roofs. For those of you that know, those sand green roofs were pretty instrumental or were pretty essential to the original series. But then, of course, looking at reference photos, which I'll throw a few in here, I think the gray roof decision was a great decision for this particular relaunch and made a lot of sense. Then, in addition to a really fantastic exterior, we have a really beautifully detail-packed interior. You can see the Great Hall here has a lot of just kind of presence. We've got some tables there. We've got the nice house banners that are reversible so that you can actually have a Ravenclaw banner displayed or a Hufflepuff, or you can go with the Slytherin and Gryffindor, which I have up here. You have the fireplace in the back there, the main staff table right here. It's just a really, really nice full room that I think works really well on the whole. Then over here we have the return of the spiral staircases. This was another element that was very essential to those older Harry Potter sets and quite fun to have present. Then as we work our way up through the different sections of the tower here, got a nice little potions area that could be a reference to a number of things, but just a nice little inclusion of kind of these hidden areas that they loved to do in those older sets as well. Then we've got the sorting hat mold up here, which was a really, really delightful piece. This is the first time it gets used. but some nice detailing there where you can actually see his face. Really a lot of fun to kind of give that its due here in the set. Then as we get all the way up to the top, we have a wonderful build out of the Mirror of Erised, which looks super great with its reflective back. And, you know, even the outlines of Harry's parents there, all with the foil trimming as well to give it that kind of nicer finished look. And then a great decision that they had to have multiples that you could swap out. So we have Dumbledore with his woolen socks. We also have Professor Quirrell with the Sorcerer's Stone, and then Ron winning the Quidditch Cup and being head boy. All really great decisions to include to kind of just let you build out and reenact a lot of these scenes really faithfully. So on the whole, great detail-packed interior. Lots of really fun things that stood out to me. The Sorting Hat, the Mirror of Erised. I also really loved the floating candles and how they were able to make those work this time around. So I thought each one was a really great decision.
It's just bewitched to look like the night sky. I read about it in Hogwarts, a history.
Things that I didn't love on this particular time around with the Great Hall. One is it just doesn't have the loft. You can kind of see in some of those other versions, particularly version 1, that they released previously, there was a lot more height to the set. And I understand why they may have made some decisions in that way, but I think it shows overall, and I think you'll be able to see it really well as we keep working our way through these sets. All of them are going to feel a little squat. And so I think that decision was one that I was kind of bothered by as we keep working our way through these sets. And then I think the biggest sin, aside from the squatness of the build, is these guys right here, these brick-built animals. We have a basilisk here, apparently, which is really rough. We got teeth. I think that's probably the biggest thing that's the tell that it's a snake. And then we have our brick-built fox, the phoenix. Both of whom just really do not look very good and are kind of wrong coloring, at least for this guy. So I think on the whole, these two were one of the bigger letdowns, especially when they didn't really connect to anything else relevant in the set. Everything else is based on the first movie, and these are the only two kind of throwaway moments that seem to be related to Chamber of Secrets, so kind of an odd decision there. Fortunately, LEGO will eventually remedy these crimes of making these brick-built versions, but that's going to take place in another video. One other little thing that was just more of a frustration than anything else, you can kind of see up here, the way that they've done the tower leaves some pretty unsightly gaps up at the very top, as you can kind of see as I pivot it here. So it doesn't really look like a full, complete tower. A little bit of a frustrating point, but not one that really bothered me so much. And there's definitely plenty of folks who have found alternative ways to do this to demonstrate that. So options for changing that there. Okay, next up we've got minifigs. A lot of them are super fun. We'll kind of just knock out our golden trio first, since they are the standard ones that we see. All of them in their Gryffindor robes. We have a nice little mold for Scabbers. We also have that Hedwig mold that we've seen in some of the other sets. Great Hall is one of the first times that we're seeing these, though. Then, of course, we have, really exciting, a depiction of, for the very first time, someone in a Hufflepuff uniform. This is Susan Bones, and it's the first time we've ever seen a Hufflepuff uniform in this set, which is really exciting. Or I guess in the whole line, we get it in this set. And then, of course, we have Draco with his characteristic smirk. So lots of fun elements there between the students that are actually present, but all of them in their standard Hogwarts robes, standard small black legs, so that they look like they belong as first years. As far as a standalone fig, I want to highlight Nearly Headless Nick. He is so much fun. I think that they did a great job with him between his period-oriented outfit to his beautiful printing that has the metallic sheen on it. I think he looks really fantastic. Love that they went with the white and give him that impression. When they've done Ghost previously, it hasn't worked out as well. I'll drop a picture of Peeves, who ended up getting cut from the movie, but not from the Lego set in time. But this guy, I think, was a really great addition, and they've kind of stuck with trying to introduce more and more of the Hogwarts ghosts as sets have been released going forward. Next up, we've got our teachers, all of whom I think look really, really wonderful. We've got Quirrell here with his nice little connection from his turban on the front of his printing. He's got his characteristic turban here, which is a beautiful piece. And then we even have a reversible head on the back, just like the older sets with Voldemort hiding underneath that turban. So great, great choice with him. Next up, we've got McGonagall. I think the most disappointing piece about her is just that she's not in a dress that, you know, has that standard dress piece. That decision I understand, making her want to be able to sit, but I think that we eventually will get her in a dress piece, which is a great choice. But her printing looks wonderful. Same with Dumbledore, matching the version that we see portrayed by Richard Harris in that first movie. Beautiful printing on him, on the torso and on the legs. And then, of course, our Hagrid, who is brand new. We've seen him already in the Diagon Alley, but it is worth calling out how beautiful this entire redo of Hagrid is. How his coat is, you know, kind of all this one piece with the little legs, and then his hair and beard. Everything looking just really nice for all of our teachers, looking very sharp. One of the things that I will call out is, despite the fact that these minifigs were pretty decent, I did notice that we've kind of stepped away from utilizing capes for the robe elements for these figures, those kind of fabric capes that were present for a while. I'm a little sad to kind of see that go, but ultimately it's not a deal breaker for me. That's my guess, my one minor gripe with these particular sets. So, overall impression, I would say that this was a great first installment when it comes to a progressive building of the Hogwarts castle, something that LEGO has done since the line began. As you know, buy more and more sets, you can have more and more of the castle. You got a great amount of minifigs. You have a lot of wonderful moments from the first movie depicted. And I think that the biggest letdown here is just including these two brick-built animals, both of whom just don't make any realistic sense. I also forgot to mention, we also have a nice little boat that gets us right up to the very front of the castle, just like it does in the movie itself. So yeah, I think that's everything. If you are interested in following along on this journey, please feel free to follow the account. And if there's anything else that you think I should be covering in these reviews, please let me know and drop a comment. But thank you so much for watching, and have an awesome day.